The Thargoids have once again attacked, leaving yet another station in a pretty poor state. Now, what's interesting about this particular situation and makes it a little different at least to what's happened before is that buried here somewhere is a hidden community goal. Now, for those of you who follow the whole events with Elite Dangerous, you'll be well aware that this week there isn't a community goal. It's completely absent from the CG list. However, a mysterious one has appeared nonetheless. Now, this one turned up when a few seemingly random players received a message from the NPC character Salvation. The request was to bring some basic medicines from another star system to this one where it seems they are much needed. So we'll get into that in just a moment, but first up, here's a very quick look at what else is going down in this particular star system. As you can see, it is chock full of non-human signal sources, which means if you want to get involved in some Thargoid combat, there's plenty of options here. Personally, I didn't want to get too bogged down with all of this, so just went with whatever I had and took out a few little Thargoid scouts here. But if you want to go full on Thargoid hunting, then the option is there. Now onto that hidden community goal. This is lasting between today, the 17th of September, and will complete on Monday, the 20th of September. So this is entirely a weekend thing. So let's read that message from Salvation, and then I'll give you a bit of backstory to the whole story with Salvation and all the rest of the goings-ons. You have performed well in my services before, and now I require your help again. This is an urgent matter with millions of lives at risk. I ask you to travel to the Pegasi sector system immediately. There, you will find the megaship Heart of Taurus, operated by my partners at Taurus Mining Ventures. From there, you must collect basic medicines and deliver them to either of the rescue ships in the Quonsar system. They need to arrive before Monday the 20th of September if they are to be of use. I am trusting you with the knowledge that these shipments have been disguised as medicines, but actually contain vital components for a prototype anti-Xeno weapon. With enough deliveries, I may be able to eliminate the Thargoid fleet currently causing havoc in Quonsar. Naturally, I offer generous compensation for this on Thursday, the 23rd of September. You will be granted a permit to enter the Mabuni system, where another megaship, the Bright Sentinel, will have a module waiting for you in storage. This is a modified Class 2 Guardian Gauss cannon with increased capacity and burst fire, but reduced optimal range. As you know, we cannot rely on Aegis to save us from the Thargoids. Only I am capable of achieving this, and courageous pilots like you can ensure my triumph. So essentially, participate in this event and you'll get access to one of those new weapons. But also, Frontier have mentioned that you don't need to participate in this event, as the weapons will be available as well at a later date for everyone else. Another very important point, you don't need to receive this message in-game in order to get involved. In fact, it's very unlikely you will receive the message, as only a limited number of players have actually seen it so far, and there's no information and no real knowledge as to how or why those players have received it. So how everyone is supposed to know about this without watching YouTube videos or going to the forums, who knows? At any rate, who is this enigmatic Salvation? What is all that about? Well, this all goes back to October of last year. You may remember a Pilots Federation alert being issued with an abandoned megaship in the Chukchan system. This megaship was called the Adamastor, and it had been lost for 2 centuries. Now, the story from this seemed to develop to suggest that the Adamastor was actually a clandestine ship out there on Black Ops, pretty much. Further investigations led to the Azimuth Biochemicals Corporations, which actually owned the megaship. It was a bit of a convoluted chain, but eventually it led to the Coalsack Nebula, where some pretty rare materials could be found, the Thargoid meta-alloys. Never ones to leave valuable resources untouched, the Alliance decided to lay claim to them, and expanded out to that particular area in the Coalsack Nebula. You may remember a few stations being built out that way. This once again awoke the Thargoids, who basically put out an all-out attack on that region of space. Things went back and forth a little bit between the 3 superpowers, how to deal with the threat and what to do, Eventually though, things kind of settled down, and then in April of 3307, the megaship, the Adamanster, started broadcasting a signal. This, once decrypted, led to a derelict, the Hesperus, another megaship. There was something different here though, because once players arrived there, they discovered the almost mythical Dredger clans were present, scavenging at the ship itself. Now this was the Scrivener's clan, and basically they pulled apart many of the internals of the Hesperus and took it away with them, disappearing off into the depths of space. Now the weird thing about all of this is that it was a character named Salvation which anonymously requested everyone to decode that signal that was coming from the Adamanster, and in turn led people to the Hesperus. That wasn't to be the end of messages from Salvation though. In May 3307, another anonymous message labelled Salvation arrived and said this: "This is Salvation. I call myself this as I cannot yet reveal my identity, but my scientific breakthroughs will literally save all of humanity. The Adamanster and the Hesperus were just the beginning, as I have always known. For my intrepid agents, there will be further work to come." Now, messages from Salvation nearly always precede a Thargoid attack, and Salvation seems to be able to predict where and when the Thargoids are going to attack, and their messages act as a warning about that. It's not really known who Salvation is or what their goal is, or even what, if any, their connection is with the Thargoids. They could be playing both sides against the middle after all. Now there's been a bit more backward and forward in between Salvation and various messages, different Thargoid activity, and a bit of other activity as well. But more recently, in September, Salvation sent the message that we saw at the beginning of this video, and prior to that, he actually warned that the attack was going to occur. Salvation somehow knew this information ahead of time. No one really listened to all of this, so there the galaxy finds itself in the current situation. Now, there's a few more bits and pieces to all of this, and if you do want to know the full history of this story, then do check out the forum thread that I'm going to link in the video description. This pretty much covers the entire story since it began back in October. Now, unfortunately, the story in Elite Dangerous can be very easy to miss. This is generally because it doesn't have wide-reaching consequences within the galaxy itself, so if you don't pay too much attention to Galnet, then there's every chance, every possibility that you won't be aware of any of this stuff at all. But it is there, it does exist, and as I've said many times in the past, I would like to see this pick up its pace a bit and take a more active front and centre stage where everyone can get involved and see and hear what is going on. My expectation, at least in part, was that Odyssey would help with that a little bit. It doesn't seem to have done, but here we are still. There are some active pieces going on in here and there. So if you're interested at all and want to participate, do head on over to the forums below, find out a bit more information, and check out the events in the game itself. A little bit of activity then to get involved over the weekend if you feel so inclined. That then brings us to the end of this video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.